I've listened to other game masters and I've run games based on traditional advice. Focus on location, the non player characters, a big bad evil guy at the end. You know, that traditional structure. And when I ran games that way, the players were always chasing the hooks, the locations. And the biggest question for them is, what do I do next? And it wasn't a philosophical next, but what do I do to keep the story moving forward? This felt the same as running a pre-made campaign or a campaign with pages and pages of non-player characters, plots, reason for things to exist. And as the game master, I always wondered, what was on the other side of that mountain range at the edge of the map? And as a player, that's exactly where I wanted to go. See what was beyond the borders. And it made me think of stories like Tolkien's stories, scanning the maps at the beginning of the books. I want to know what's south of Mordor, the mountains of Shadow, down into the near Harad, or on the Harad Road. And I started asking, what if Bilbo just ran away with his ring? Because, we should not always do what really tall men say that have long beards and pointy hats. So I started running games differently, with no borders, no set direction, and just based off of pressure. And I let go of trying to corral my players, to direct their actions, and I let the players write their own stories with me. This changed everything for me and the players, and I stopped being the judge, the jury, the descriptor, and the rule holder. And I got to play too. Sure, with definitely different parameters, but I got to be the little green goblin, leaving little breadcrumbs for the players, hoping to lure them down into the layers so I could get that yummy little halfling in the pot to feed my family. Or the wizard plotting in his tower, or even that dragon who's guarding his hoard. Each one of my non-player characters that I was controlling had wants and desires that gave them a reason for existing. Because like the players, I never knew what was going to happen. I just couldn't. That goblin wanted his halfling dinner, but whether he got it or not, that was up to the story we were writing together. The non-player characters, the towns, the villains, they weren't just set dressing anymore. Players couldn't just wade through and kill things and destroy everything. They became the world itself, my world. And that world started breathing. But I discovered something else. The more I gave a crap and cared about that goblin and the others, the more I needed to connect and track everything. It became the butterfly effect. And the more I tracked, the more I realized this isn't just about game design or problems with games. This is how the real world, our world, actually works also. I started learning through history and how connections create pressure. All right, let's think of Pearl Harbor. Was that what got the US into World War II? Or was it the catalyst on top of hundreds, maybe thousands of different events and pressures that have just been building? When we write traditionally with plots, we miss those nuances, those little details. We pick the one big event and we ignore the pressure that's underneath. And I also looked into storytelling. Traditional frameworks that are these are brilliant for novels and plays and movies, but those require a beginning, a middle, and an end. You can cause it all because you are in control of the narrative as that author. And you can see when the hero gets to fail and triumph and rise up or whatever you need. But tabletop role-playing games, they don't work that way. I needed something different because I learned this the hard way. I built this entire campaign once. It was around this doppelganger king. I had months of prep, I had hooks, I had encounters, all building toward this big, huge, giant reveal. Session 2, the players figured it out and had him killed. All those carefully constructed story beats, they were leading to my planned climax, and they were gone in an instant. I needed framework that got to flex with the player's agency. So I created weaves and 6 questions to track how it all fits together. A way to see the threads, the connections. Every single weave, the world wound, the villain, the characters, the locations, follow these same 6 questions. That structure lets me see not just what's happening, but how everything was pulling and pushing everything else. And when you see those connections start working at your table when players realize their choices 3 sessions ago, or maybe even a year ago, just change what's happening right now. And when they understand the villain wasn't just waiting for them, but was moving the whole time also. Nothing is random in this system. Those 6 questions ensure everything pulls on everything else. I built 40 plus videos that keep building on each other, taking concepts, expanding them, giving you every single tool to create campaigns this way, that breathe, and even make your characters that feel like they really exist. But that's like telling you a recipe without actually showing you the cooking. Just a bunch of lists of ingredients, and we really need to fix this. And that's what this new series is. I'm going to build a world on camera, not just theory, but actual construction using my system, this system. You'll watch the world wound, the slow burn get built. See how they connect and how they create momentum before anyone ever sits down to play. Then my wife, Allie, is going to step into it. And we're going to do a full character creation. The real process from concept, ideas, through the prologue. Her character, and it's going to be her choices. And when we play, she's going to get to discover this world as it happens. We're going to have real sessions, natural gameplay, no stopping, no tutorial interruptions. When concepts do appear, we're going to break them down in post with voiceover, show you exactly what's happening and why it works. And the first time a concept shows up, I'm going to try to do a full explanation. Then we'll watch it work naturally in later episodes. And by the end, you'll have seen every piece of this concepts and ideas demonstrated multiple times in actual play. This isn't just entertainment like Critical Role. This is instructional actual play, systematic education through real sessions. When we're finished with this series, you won't be hoping your campaign works. You'll know how to build worlds that run themselves. You'll see running a game become exciting again because you get to play too and not just direct or read from a set script. You have the system that makes all of this possible. We're using Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 1st and 2nd edition for this series. And it's not because it's harder or better than what you're running. It's what I know. It's what I have. It's a system I've been using this methodology for years. Does it have problems? Absolutely. It's got FACO, variable initiatives, descending armor class. It's got plenty of jank. But so does every other system. 5e has ability bloat. Pathfinder has feat change. Every game has friction. The point isn't the system. Except this methodology works regardless of what you're running. You're going to watch me run Advanced Dungeons & Dragons with all of its quirks and see how the methodology makes the mechanics disappear while the world takes over. When you see that working, you'll know it'll work for whatever you're running. So if you're interested in seeing why I love Advanced Dungeons & Dragons and how pressure becomes the driving force in the campaign, hit like and subscribe. The YouTube algorithm is brutal. And even if you subscribe, you might not get a notification. So you need to hit the bell also. Make sure you see when new episodes drop. And if what we're building here sounds valuable to you, if you want systematic tabletop role-playing game education that stays free, but want to support the work, join us on Ko-fi. All the videos stay free on YouTube. That doesn't change. What Ko-fi members get are the implementation toolkits Every system we release, the player interview system, the world building framework, the character creation guides, combat execution tools, everything. Each one will include the instruction guide, a worksheet how you can fill it out, and a completed example so you can see exactly how it works when you sit down to use it. You also get into the Ko-fi community, a space where members can talk about building campaigns, solving problems, and sharing what works for them. Not just consuming content, building together. Support what we're doing. Get the tools to implement it yourself and join the Warm Below. To the Fluffy Spawn and the Warm Below, we're building something different here. Not just another play series, a complete education in running tabletop role-playing games that breathe. So get ready for episode 1. Let's build a world.